The rain taps against my window, streaking into tiny rivers that twist and blur the Seattle skyline beyond. I sit cross-legged on my sofa, staring at the single chocolate cupcake on my coffee table. One lonely candle stands unlit at its center, a pitiful monument to the milestone I've dreaded and hoped for in equal measure. 30 years old today, the big 30, and not a soul seems to remember. My phone lies next to me, the screen black and cold. I pick it up for the 15th time in 10 minutes. No missed calls, no new texts, just my own reflection staring back at me, pale and uncertain. The wall clock ticks to 8 p.m., the sound sharp and final. Something inside me deflates, collapsing like a balloon left out in the rain. Official now. My birthday has come and gone without acknowledgement from the two people who gave me life. Without a whisper from the one family who should have remembered. I open Instagram, knowing it's an act of emotional self-sabotage, and scroll almost on autopilot until I find what I'm looking for. Camille, my younger sister, radiant in a silver gown at her piano recital, fingers poised above ivory keys like she's about to summon angels. 78 likes already. At the top of the comments, Moms, our brilliant star, your father and I couldn't be prouder. Below that, Dads, that's my girl. Mozart himself would be jealous. The familiar tightness closes around my throat. 30 years of this same script. And still it stings like the first time. I swipe out of the app and open my photo roll. Images of the boutique hotel redesign I completed last month light up the screen. Warm ambient lighting. A seamless blend of modern luxury and preserved history. My crowning achievement so far. The project that earned me an industry award and a life-changing bonus. A tear splashes onto the screen, distorting the image of vaulted ceilings and glass chandeliers. I wipe it away angrily with my sleeve. No one's ever going to celebrate you, Emery, I whisper, the words sounding small, like they came from a 10-year-old. Not like they celebrate her. And just like that, the memory surfaces. Me at 10, in a pink dress grandma mailed for my birthday. Hair brushed, smile plastered, waiting by the living room window. Hurry, we can't be late for Camille's recital. Mom called as she swept past without noticing me. But what about my party? I'd asked in a thin, desperate voice. Dad ruffled my hair absently. Next weekend, kiddo. But next weekend never came. That was the first time I learned to fade into the background of my own life. To expect nothing and be grateful for less. I dragged the back of my hand across my face, disgusted at my tears. 30 years old. Not 10. I should be over this. The cupcake sits untouched, its frosting hardened from hours of neglect. I reach for it, then pause. What exactly am I celebrating? Another year of invisibility? Another milestone spent in silence? Not this time. I square my shoulders and flip open my laptop. My bank balance glows back at me. $97.342.16. Years of careful saving, padded by the $68 bonus from the hotel project. Money no one knows about. Because no one bothers to ask. I hover over my phone. Adrenaline prickling at my skin. The thought feels dangerous, reckless even, but for the first time all day, my heart beats with something other than disappointment. I hit call. Seattle Audi. This is Trevor speaking. How may I assist you? A cheerful voice answers. Hi, I say, steadier than expected. Do you have any Q5s available? We certainly do. Several models. In fact, would you like to schedule a test drive? I glance at the cupcake. At the window still streaked with rain. At the silent phone that hasn't rung once. Actually, I say, surprising myself, I'm thinking about buying one. Tonight. Tonight? Trevor repeats, clearly startled. Well, we're open for another hour. I can start the paperwork if you're serious. I am. My voice doesn't shake. Very serious. I end the call, rising from the couch. My reflection in the window startles me. Spine straight. Chin lifted. Eyes bright with something new. Defiance. If they won't celebrate me, I tell the woman in the glass, I'll celebrate myself. I grab my keys, leave the sad cupcake behind, and step into a night that suddenly feels wide open. The Audi dealership gleams under high-beam spotlights. its glass facade sparkling like wet pavement after a storm. My heart thumps a nervous rhythm as I push through the revolving doors. Rain still clinging to my coat. Inside, sleek cars line the polished showroom floor, their metallic bodies catching the overhead lights in perfect arcs of shine. For a moment, I feel like I've stepped into another universe, one where luxury is expected, not questioned. A man in a crisp button-down approaches. His smile practiced but not unfriendly. Welcome to Seattle Audi. I'm Trevor. You must be the one who called about the Q5? Yes, I say, voice steady. I'd like to buy one. Tonight. Something flickers in his eyes, a quick calculation. Surprise. Then professional composure. Of course. Let me show you our selection. We weave through glossy sedans and SUVs until we reach it. A midnight blue Q5. Gleaming in the corner as if it had been waiting just for me. My breath catches. I run my fingertips along its smooth surface. The paint distorting my reflection into a woman I barely recognize, shoulders squared. Gaze intent, no longer apologizing for existing. Would you like to test drive it first? Trevor offers, gesturing toward the keys dangling from his hand. I shake my head. A slow, deliberate movement. No need. This is the one. In the finance office, papers slide across a mahogany desk. One after another, a woman with silver-streaked hair looks at me over her glasses. Her expression calm but faintly curious. How would you like to handle payment, Ms. Blake? I'll put down $60,000 in cash. I say, the words strange yet intoxicating on my tongue. I'll finance the rest. Her eyebrows rise just slightly. A micro-expression I've learned to spot from years of being underestimated. That's quite a substantial down payment. May I ask your profession? Interior architect. I answer simply. I recently completed a boutique hotel redesign. I don't elaborate about the award, the industry praise, or the client's record-breaking revenue increase. Let her wonder. When the final papers are signed, the key fob sits heavy in my palm, solid. Real. Mine. Trevor shakes my hand firmly. Congratulations on your new Audi. She's a beauty. Back outside, the car glows under the lot's floodlights like a jewel against the darkness. I slip inside, the new leather scent wrapping around me like a declaration. The dashboard lights bloom in a soft blue glow. Futuristic yet comforting. My reflection in the rearview mirror looks different. For the first time in years, maybe decades, I see a woman who knows her worth. Driving away, the city feels changed. Raindrops scatter across my windshield, catching the neon reflections of Pike Place and Capitol Hill like tiny diamonds. Seattle is known for its drizzle, nearly 150 days of rain each year, but tonight, the drops feel less like a burden and more like applause. I don't go home immediately. Instead, I head toward Cary Park, the city's most iconic viewpoint. Tourists crowd it by day. Cameras snapping the Space Needle and Mount Rainier on rare clear afternoons. At night, though, it's locals who come, lovers with coffee cups. Photographers chasing long exposures. Dreamers like me searching for proof that the skyline can hold secrets. I park carefully, angling the Q5 so the Seattle lights shimmer against its midnight blue paint. Phone in hand, I take photo after photo. The car looks almost defiant under the city glow. Like it knows this night is more than just a purchase, it's a turning point. Choosing a caption takes longer than the photo shoot. I type, delete, retype, delete again. Finally, I settle on, happy birthday to me. Dream car, dream life. My finger hovers over, post, for a long minute. Then, before doubt can sneak in, I press it. The notifications begin instantly. Likes, comments, DMs flooding in. Oh my god, Emery, congrats. That car is gorgeous. Happy birthday. You deserve it. The validation buzzes through me like champagne bubbles. For once, I'm the one being seen. Not Camille. Then the phone rings. My mother's name fills the screen. I hesitate. Let it buzz 3 times. Then answer. Emery Jean Blake. She says, crisp and cold. My full name. Never a good sign. Where did you get that kind of money? No happy birthday. No how are you? Just suspicion. Hello to you too, Mom. I reply, leaning against the hood of my new car. The metal feels solid beneath me. Like an anchor. I earned it. That car costs more than some people make in a year, she snaps. Harold, come here. Talk to your daughter about this car she's apparently bought. Rustling. Then my father's voice. The same tone he used when I was 16 and missed curfew. Emery, is this some sort of lease arrangement? Because financially, this seems. It's mine. I cut in. My voice is calm but firm. Paid mostly in cash. From my bonus on the Fairmont project. Silence stretches long and heavy. I can almost hear the gears turning in his head. Recalibrating the way he sees me. Well, he says finally. His voice uncertain. That seems impulsive. A text notification buzzes. I pull the phone away long enough to see Camille's name flash. Wow, didn't think you could afford something like that. Mom and Dad freaking out lol. Seconds later, the family group chat explodes. Message after message about my extravagance. My sudden decisions. Not one acknowledgement of what day it is. My mother comes back on the line. We need to discuss this as a family. Dinner, tomorrow night, 6 sharp. Is that an invitation? I ask coolly. Or a summons? This is family. Emery, we're concerned. I glance at my watch. 9:43 p.m. My birthday almost over. Still unacknowledged. I'll be there, I say finally. But I'll be driving myself. When I hang up, the silence of the night feels almost holy. I slide into the driver's seat. Lay my hands on the leather wheel. Tomorrow will be a reckoning. But tonight is still mine. The next evening, the gravel crunches beneath my Audi's tires as I pull into the familiar driveway of my parents' Bellevue home. Their bay window glows with warm light. Silhouettes moving inside. I pause, hands gripping the wheel. The cake box rests on the passenger seat. Its message hidden inside like a live wire. Happy birthday, Emery. From me to me. A secret waiting to detonate. I take a deep breath. 30 years of swallowed words press heavy against my chest. Tonight is different. I whisper to my reflection in the rearview mirror. My reflection stares back, shoulders squared. Jaw set. The forgotten daughter no longer willing to be forgotten. When I step out, the evening air is cool, carrying the faint scent of cedar and damp earth. My mother opens the front door before I reach it. Emery, what a surprise. Her eyes dart past me, landing on the Audi, and widen. Come in. Dinner's nearly ready. Dad waits in the foyer, arms crossed like a judge ready to hear a case. That's quite a vehicle, he says flatly. Yes, I answer simply, brushing past him with the cake box held steady in my hands. Camille lingers nearby, her curiosity naked on her face. Hey, nice car, she offers. The dining room is exactly as I remember. The polished maple table gleaming under Mom's prized chandelier. Crystal glasses lined up like soldiers. The good china, reserved for special occasions. Camille's recitals. Camille's graduations. Camille's triumphs. Never mine. Merlot? Mom asks. Already pouring. Just water. I say. I want a clear head. Dad takes his place at the head of the table. His kingdom intact. So, that car must have set you back. Financing these days is a trap. You know, dealers will say anything to get you to sign. I sip my water calmly. No financing needed for most of it. The silence that follows is thick. Like a curtain dropping over the table. Mom busies herself with pot roast. Her specialty. The scent of rosemary and garlic heavy in the air. Camille shifts uncomfortably, reaching for the salt. The Thompson Hotel project must have gone well. She says. It did. I reply, cutting into my meat. The client was very pleased. Hotels are risky investments. Dad mutters, stabbing at a carrot. Tourism fluctuates. You should put that money toward retirement. Not depreciating assets. Harold, Mom warns softly. What? I'm just saying what any responsible parent would. The words wash over me. Same lecture. Different night. My university was too expensive. My apartment, in the wrong neighborhood. My career, unstable. Always doubt. Always dismissal. Dinner crawls on through shallow small talk. Weather. Camille's upcoming recital. The neighbor's renovation. Not once does anyone mention my birthday. When the plates are cleared, I rise silently and retrieve the cake box from the sideboard. All eyes track me as I set it in the middle of the table. My hands move with deliberate care as I lift the lid. The words stare back at them in elegant script. Happy birthday, Emery. From me to me. Mom's hand flies to her mouth. Oh, Emery, we don't. For 30 years. I cut in. Voice steady. My birthdays were forgotten while Camille's were celebrated like royalty. Dad shifts uncomfortably. Now that's not fair, isn't it? My gaze pins him. On my 16th birthday, you brought home a grocery store cake while Camille had a catered party with 50 guests for hers. Mom's eyes glisten with tears. We never meant. My 20th birthday landed on Camille's college graduation. Everyone forgot. You scheduled a family vacation to celebrate her and left me home to watch the house. Camille's eyes widen. I never knew that. And this year, I continue. My voice stronger. There was nothing. Not even a text message. The room stills. The grandfather clock ticks in the corner. Each second a hammer pounding truth into the silence. I gave myself the gift I deserved. I finish, straightening my shoulders. And I don't need anyone's approval. But $50,000 on a car? Dad sputters. It's irresponsible. Is it? My tone cuts like glass. The hotel project you never asked about? I transformed a failing property into a destination. Increased revenue by 35%. Earned an industry award. And a $68,000 bonus. Mom gasps softly. Dad stares at his plate. Speechless for once. That's my money. I continue. Earned through my work and my talent. After decades of invisibility, I chose to recognize myself. Mom dabs at her eyes. We never meant to make you feel that way. It's not about intention. I say firmly. It's about 30 years of consistent actions. A family dynamic where one child mattered and the other didn't. Camille whispers. I never realized. I should have seen it. I should have stood up for you. Yes, you should have. My voice is sharp. But I don't apologize. But you didn't create this dynamic. You just benefited from it. I turn back to my parents. I'm not asking for apologies. I'm not asking for promises you won't keep. I'm stating facts. I now celebrate myself. I value myself. And I won't apologize for it. Dad clears his throat. His voice smaller than I've ever heard it. Families are complicated. We've always been proud of you. Have you? I ask quietly. When was the last time you came to one of my showcases? Put a photo of my projects on the mantle? Introduced me first. Even once? Mom's tears spill freely. Dad looks stricken, like he's finally seeing me clearly. I gather my purse. My movements calm but resolute. I'm not asking for change. I'm telling you, the dynamic has been unbalanced for 30 years. And I've stopped accepting it as normal. I close the cake box and leave it in the center of the table. The words glaring up at them. My smile feels foreign but firm. Consider it my birthday gift to all of you. Outside, raindrops scatter across my windshield like tiny diamonds as I drive away. Each mile between me and that house loosens the knot in my chest. My words replay in my head. My voice steady, unwavering. For 30 years, I was forgotten. Tonight, I refused to be. Seattle's Space Needle rises against the night sky. A UFO-shaped beacon piercing the darkness. From some angles, it looks ready for takeoff. Tonight, it feels like it's calling me to rise too. I park outside my apartment. Lingering behind the wheel, the leather seats still smell new. The dashboard lights glow soft blue. This car isn't just transportation, it's proof. Proof I can give myself what no one else ever did. Inside, my apartment feels different, charged with new energy. My phone buzzes again and again. Messages from Mom, Dad, Camille. Words like misunderstanding, family unity. We love both our girls equally. None of it erases 30 years. But then, Camille's text arrives. Can we meet tomorrow? Just us. Coffee. Pike Place. 10 a.m. I stare at the screen. Of all the reactions, hers is the least expected. Slowly, deliberately, I type back. I'll be there. Morning drapes Seattle in a gauzy fog. The kind that softens the skyline and muffles the streets. I arrive at the coffee shop 10 minutes early. Choosing a table by the window. My new Audi sits parked across the street. Its midnight blue paint dulled to slate under the gray sky, but still gleaming in my eyes like a quiet rebellion. I wrap my hands around a paper cup, the warmth grounding me as I wait. 5 minutes past 10. Camille walks in, even in jeans and a loose sweater. She carries herself like a performer. Posture perfect, chin lifted, but her eyes, when they find me, look different. Uncertain, vulnerable. She slides into the seat across from me, setting her tote bag carefully at her side. I got you a latte, I say, pushing the extra cup toward her. Thanks, she murmurs, fingers curling around it but not lifting it to her lips. Silence stretches, brittle as glass. Then her voice breaks. She swallows, tears welling, shocking me. In 30 years, I've seen her cry exactly twice. When she broke her wrist at 14 and thought her piano career was over. And when she got into Juilliard. Never for me. I never saw it, she whispers, blinking rapidly. I was so wrapped up in my own world. My own applause. I thought you were fine. You were always cheering louder than anyone. Her words land heavy. Did you really never notice? My voice comes softer than I intend. All those years? Camille stares into her coffee, her reflection rippling in the surface. I assumed you didn't care. Or that you were happy in your own way. You never complained. You never. She looks up, eyes wet. But I see it now. No one came to your exhibits. No one celebrated your graduations. Not even me. The admission scrapes something raw inside me. She takes a shaky breath. I should have defended you. When mom and dad forgot your high school graduation party. When they canceled your college dinner for my concert series. I should have said something. But I didn't. I just let it happen. And I'm so sorry. 4 words. I'm so sorry. Somehow they matter more from her than they would from our parents. I don't reply immediately. Instead, I watch her, the sister I spent my life standing behind, suddenly crumbling in front of me. The silence between us feels different now, not neglect, but reckoning. She reaches across the table, her hand hovering uncertainly until I let her take mine. Her grip is warm, tentative, trembling. I don't want to be blind anymore, she says. I don't want to lose you to all the ways we let you down. I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. For the first time, Camille isn't the star center stage. She's just a woman, flawed, fumbling, trying, and somehow, that means more than perfection ever could. Later that week, my phone rings. Mom's number. I almost let it go to voicemail. But something, curiosity, maybe, makes me answer. I was looking at your company website. She says cautiously. The hotel redesign. It's beautiful. The compliment feels foreign, awkward on her tongue. Thank you. I manage. The next day, Dad calls. His voice is gruff, uncomfortable. That car, it suits you. From him. That's practically poetry. Camille texts more often now. She asks about my projects. Listens instead of waiting for her turn to speak. In the family group chat, she gently corrects our parents when they slip back into old habits. Making sure my name is included in conversations. Small shifts. Fragile, tentative, like the first cracks in a dam holding back too much water. One night, I sit in my apartment with a glass of wine. The Audi key fob resting on the table beside me. I run my fingers over its smooth edges, remembering the night I decided my worth wasn't negotiable. Rain taps against my window again. Steady and familiar. But tonight, it doesn't sound lonely. It sounds like applause. A week later, I find myself back on the floating bridge crossing Lake Washington. The car hums beneath me. The leather seats holding me steady. My phone buzzes on the console with a new text from Mom. We're looking forward to seeing you. Sweetheart, drive safe. 3 messages today already. A strange new version of her. The invitation had come days ago. Special family dinner. Nothing fancy. Just us 4. I nearly declined. 30 years of patterns don't undo themselves in 6 months. But her voice on the phone had sounded different, nervous, even earnest. So here I am, steering toward the tree-lined street of my childhood. Toward a house that once taught me to disappear. When I turn onto the block, I stop short. Blue and silver balloons bob from the mailbox, swaying in the evening breeze. My throat tightens. I park behind Dad's truck and sit a moment. Gathering myself. Through the living room curtains. I see movement. Mom peeks out, catches my eye, and waves with a tentative smile. The front door opens before I reach it. Emery, she says, stepping forward to hug me. Her embrace lasts longer than I expect. Her perfume wrapping me in both familiarity and strangeness. You look wonderful. Inside, the air smells of roasting chicken and cinnamon. My heart stumbles. What's the occasion? I ask, suspicious. Her eyes flick toward the dining room. Why don't you go see? I round the corner, and freeze. The table gleams with the good china. Streamers hang from the chandelier. A white bakery box sits at the center. A vase of fresh flowers beside it. Dad clears his throat. Surprise. He says, almost sheepishly. Better late than never, I suppose. Camille steps forward, holding a small wrapped package. Happy belated birthday, M. For a moment, I can't move, can't breathe. Dad gestures toward the cake box. Go ahead, open it. With trembling fingers, I lift the lid. Inside sits a chocolate cake. Buttercream frosting smooth and white. Written across the top in elegant blue script. Happy belated 30th birthday. Emery. For a moment, I just stare at the cake. Unable to move, 30 years of absence condensed into one belated gesture. Sitting in a white box under chandelier light. My throat tightens with a mix of anger and something softer I can't name. Dad clears his throat again. His eyes fixed somewhere over my shoulder. We know we can't undo the past. He says, voice stiff, halting, but your mother and I have been thinking about how we may not have been as attentive as we should have been. Not attentive. The understatement hangs in the air like smoke. 30 years of missed birthdays. Overlooked achievements. Silence where celebration should have been. Flattened into 2 mild words. Camille presses the gift into my hands. Open mine first, she urges, almost nervously. The wrapping paper crinkles under my fingers, revealing a sleek black frame. Behind the glass, a professional photograph of the hotel lobby I redesigned. My work, my vision. Beside it, an article clipped from Seattle Architecture Monthly, praising the project as bold, visionary, flawlessly executed. I had it printed and framed. Camille says quietly, watching my face, thought maybe you could hang it in your office. A reminder. My chest aches, not with anger this time, but with something dangerously close to gratitude. Thank you, I whisper. We sit down to dinner. The table laden with roasted chicken marsala. My favorite, though rarely made for me. Conversation falters, starts, stops again. Dad asks about my projects. Awkward in his curiosity. Mom comments on the spice blend in the sauce. Camille fills silences with stories of her studio. But her eyes keep flicking toward me, as if to check if I'm really here. After the plates are cleared, Mom lays her napkin down, hands trembling slightly. We wanted to make up for missing your birthday, she says, voice careful. It's been a long time since she swallows. Since we've served cake for you. The words strike me harder than I expect. Not an admission of 30 years. Just this one, my 30th birthday. A single night, singled out. I set my fork down. The weight of it heavy. It wasn't just this year. I say quietly. The air shifts. Sharp and brittle. Dad frowns. We know, Emery. We've missed a few things. A few? The laugh that escapes me is bitter. My 16th. My 20th. My college graduation. Even high school. Do you remember those? Silence. Mom's eyes fill with tears again. Dad stares at his plate. I appreciate tonight. I continue, steady but firm. I really do. But I need you to understand. I'm not looking for make-up birthdays or guilt-driven gestures. I don't need retroactive cake. I need respect, recognition, proof that I exist in this family. That my achievements matter. That my presence counts for something. Dad shifts. Uncomfortable. Of course you count. You've always counted. Have I? I press. When was the last time you came to one of my showcases? When did you ever put my name on the mantle beside Camille's? When did you introduce me first? The silence thickens, suffocates. Mom reaches across the table, her hand trembling. Things will be different now, she whispers. I let her take my hand. But my voice stays cool, unwavering. They already are different, because I'm different. I decide my worth now. Not you. Not this family. The words hang like a verdict. For the first time, I feel the balance shift. No longer the invisible daughter begging for crumbs, but a woman drawing her own boundaries. Dad nods slowly, almost reluctantly. Fair enough. We've got some catching up to do. Camille raises her water glass. To new beginnings, she says softly, and better birthdays. I lift my glass to meet hers. Studying their faces, my imperfect family. Fumbling towards something new. Not perfect, but trying. The cake tastes sweet on my tongue. Imperfect, but good enough. To new boundaries, I add firmly, and to celebrating ourselves, when no one else remembers to. A year later, the gentle ping of my phone wakes me before dawn. I squint at the screen. Heart skipping. A text from Dad. Happy birthday, Emery. Hope it's a good one. 2 more notifications. Flowers from Mom. A lunch invite from Camille. I sit up slowly, the weight of contrast hitting me like sunlight after a storm. Last year, silence. This year, remembrance. Sliding into my Audi, the leather cool against my palms. I can't help but smile. For a year now, this car has been more than a car. It's been a promise, proof that I stopped waiting to be seen. At the design firm, my team surprises me with champagne and a towering chocolate cake. My assistant raises a toast. To Emery, whose redesign of the Harborview Hotel just landed us the Westlake Tower contract. The client specifically requested her. Laughter. Clinking glasses. I accept the praise without deflection. Last year, I would have shrunk, minimized myself. Today, I simply smile. Thank you all. I couldn't ask for better colleagues. Later, Camille meets me at a waterfront restaurant. She looks different, softer, less wrapped up in herself. She hands me a small box. Inside, a silver compass pendant. For the woman who found her own direction. She says, eyes earnest. The card inside reads, I see you now. I'm sorry it took so long. I fasten the compass around my neck. Its weight a reminder, not of what I lacked, but of what I claimed. As we eat, she leans forward. I've been thinking about what you said. About invisibility. I never realized how much it cost you to cheer for me. I can't change the past. But I can do better now. I nod, the pendant cool against my skin. That's all I ask. After lunch, I drive to Cary Park again. The skyline spreads before me. Space Needle lit against a rare clear September sky. My phone rings. Mom. Happy birthday, sweetheart, she says. Her voice is warm, gentle, almost tentative. Did you get the flowers? They're beautiful, I answer. A pause. Your father and I wondered, would you join us for dinner this weekend? Nothing fancy. Just family. Family. The word no longer feels like a demand. It feels like a question. A choice. I'd like that, I say. Saturday works. For the first time in 30 years. The choice is mine. The package waits outside my apartment door when I get home. The brown paper neatly folded. Camille's handwriting unmistakable across the top. I carry it inside, heart thudding with a mix of suspicion and hope. On the couch, I peel the wrapping back slowly, revealing a handmade scrapbook. Page after page unfolds like a timeline I never thought existed. My college graduation, captured in a blurry photo I didn't know anyone had taken. A local newspaper clipping about my first design award. A screenshot of my name on the Architecture Monthly feature. My Harborview Hotel project, laid out in glossy prints. The review praising its bold vision and flawless execution, pasted beside it. Between the pages, a folded note slips free. 4 words written in Camille's looping script. I see you now. I press my fingers to the words. Throat tightening. 30 years of invisibility, answered by a single acknowledgement I'd stopped believing would ever come. I glance at the framed photograph she gave me months ago. Already hanging in my office. Now this scrapbook. Her attempt to stitch together a story of me that our parents never told. My life. Seen at last. Setting the book aside, I open my desk drawer and pull out a recent photo. Me with my design team at the Harborview grand opening. Champagne glasses raised high. I slide it carefully into the last empty page. Completing the story. Sunlight slants through my window, catching on the compass pendant at my throat. Camille's gift. A reminder that I'd found my own direction long before anyone thought to hand me one. My phone buzzes with notifications. Dinner invitation from Mom. Friends confirming a birthday gathering at Elliot's Oyster House. For once, the calendar feels like a feast. Not an afterthought. I lean back, considering my options. Dinner with family? Celebration with friends? Both are open to me now. Neither carries the weight of obligation. For the first time in my life, the choice is wholly mine. I stand in front of my mirror, fastening the pendant's clasp and brushing my fingers over its cool silver surface. My reflection stares back at me, steady and unflinching. Not the forgotten daughter, not the invisible sister. A woman who decided her worth without waiting for anyone's permission. On the counter, my Audi keys glint in the light. I pick them up, their familiar weight reassuring. That car was never just a purchase. It was a declaration, a promise to myself that I would never again wait to be seen. I think of that night in the rain, the lonely cupcake, the silent phone, of the bold decision to step into a showroom and drive out with something I'd earned. Something I deserved. That moment reshaped me. Some gifts don't just change what you own. They change who you are. I smile at my reflection. Happy birthday, Emery, I whisper, from me to me. And for once, it doesn't feel sad. It feels like the truest celebration I've ever known.